Jai Shri Ram, welcome all of you all for our weekly Ramayan class. So we have it on Wednesday. Today we are having it on Monday because today is Kadashi. Basically, today is Gita Jayanti, the day on which Bhagavad Gita was spoken, and that is why it's very auspicious Ekadashi. So many people asked me, Prabhuji, why are we not speaking on Bhagavad Gita today? We are speaking on Ramayan. I said, first understand the difference between Ramayana and Bhagavad Gita. No, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord is giving us instructions how to live life, how to achieve God. All that is being explained in the Bhagavad Gita. But before he gave this instruction, he lived the life like Lord Ramchandraji. He lived a life of Ramchandraji to explain to us how one has to execute his life. तो कहते हैं ना कि पहले प्रैक्टिकल दिया फिर अभी थियरी दे एंड द रीजन इज ये तो थियरी समझ में नहीं आएगा पीपल विल वंडर अरे व्हाट इज गॉड इज सेइंग नो यू डू योर ड्यूटी इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट धर्म करना है बट व्हाट इज धर्म दैट इज व्हाई ही हैड टू शो ऑल द ड्यूटीज ऑल द धर्म एंड द laws which he has explained in the Bhagavad Gita has been demonstrated in the form of a story in the Ramayana as well as in the Mahabharata. Is a mixture of Ramayana and Mahabharata. And Lord, before saying, one will say, "अरे आप तो बोल दिया बहुत आसान है, जी के देखो तो मालूम पड़ेगा." So that is the purpose why Lord Ramchandra ji ka life story is very important, because he showed us how a person has to live as per the Shastra. And all the loopholes of the Vedas are explained in the form of a story was through the Ramayana. So we had completed Balkand, it's chapter 9, and we started with chapter number 10. 10.3 is what we completed in the Balkand last session. But just to refresh our memory, we just go through it. You'll go through 10.3, 1.10.3. Yes, Mataji, please continue.
Rishyashringi is staying in the forest, absorbed in austerities and study of the Vedas. He is completely unaware of worldly happiness which arises with the contact of senses with sense objects. He has never interacted with or even seen a woman. Explanation. According to the Mahabharata Vanaparva, sage Vibhandaka was the son of Kashyapa. Once sage Vibhandaka saw the most beautiful Apsara Urvashi. Agitated by her beauty, sage Vibhandaka subconsciously released his sperm, which fell into a river. A deer who was a cursed Apsara swallowed it while drinking water. That deer then became pregnant. She gave birth to a human boy, but with the horns of a deer. After giving birth, the Apsara got free from her curse and went back to heaven, leaving the child alone. When sage Vibhandaka saw the child, he could understand everything with his yogic powers. Since the child had the horns of a deer, the child was named Rishyashringi. He grew up with his father at his hermitage and had never seen anyone else other than his father throughout his life. Bhagavad Gita 2.62 explains the relevance of the word Visayanam in detail. Dhyayato Visayan Pumsaha Sangaste Supajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Abhijayate. Shastras explain how worldly pleasures are drawn by the contact of the sense with the sense objects. When one always contemplates on these sense objects, he develops lust. Though these sense objects do not give you real happiness, people at large are attracted to this type of cheap happiness. Feeding the senses with the sense objects may give one some illusion of happiness, but only for a short time. For example, one may like eating sweet gulab jamuns. Initially, one may feel happiness by eating a few gulab jamuns. But if one is forced to eat the same gulab jamun daily or in huge quantities, then it will become a matter of distress and misery. On the other hand, real happiness does not diminish and always keeps on increasing. This is because our real happiness can be experienced only when our soul is happy. The soul, being spiritual in nature, does not get happiness from material things. The soul can experience happiness only by performing devotion to God. An example of a car and a car driver will explain the difference. The soul inside a body is like a driver in a car. The fuel requirement of the car is petrol or gas, but the same petrol cannot be given as food to the driver as the driver's requirement is food. Hence, even the richest person in this material world is not able to derive happiness from all the material things that he possesses, as those things are meant only for the body. However, a person in devotion enjoys more happiness as his soul is fed with spiritual knowledge. Hence, in this verse, it is specified that Rishyashringa was unaware of worldly happiness, which is related to the senses, as he was busy studying Shastras and doing austerity.
Thank you very much. We have discussed all these points. Just to give a fast recap, how Rishyashringa was born without seeing a woman. One may say, every man will see at least his mother. How can one be born without a woman, without seeing a woman? So for that, the story is being explained at the Mahabharata Vana Parva. The story comes where Vibhandaka Rishi sees Urvashi, and he releases his sperms, and these sperms fall in the river water, and this water is drunk by a deer, and the deer becomes pregnant, and it gives birth to a human child with horns like ears. So that is why he got the name Rishyashringa. So the point what Acharya is explained over here is, see, as long as the senses do not come in contact with the sense objects, the mind is not agitated. The minute the sense object comes in contact with the senses, the mind gets agitated. So we'll understand this in the further verses. Now you can read 1.104 or 10.4. Yeah.
The ministers further said, by offering pleasing sense objects that can agitate the mind of a man, we can bring Rishyashringa to our city. So please decide fast.
So what is the plan? What is the plot? How to attract Rishyashringa to Romaharshana's kingdom. So it was not possible for him to, you can't pull that fellow and get him here. It has to be lured. And how to lure him? That is the challenge. And that is what saying the ministers further said, we're offering pleasing sense objects. Jisse indriya khush ho. We say we are independent, but we are the biggest slaves of our senses. We all. आज कुछ नहीं, आज एकादशी है, ऐसा लगता है आज का दिन शून्य दिन, कुछ खाया नहीं, कुछ ढंग से खाया नहीं, नथिंग, नो एंजॉयमेंट, खाली पेट भजन भी नहीं हो रहा है. Many people tell me, प्रभु जी भजन भी नहीं हो रहा है, आप बोलते हो एकादशी का दिन भजन करो. I know it's difficult. That is why always difficult thing God wants you to do difficult things, not easy task. ठीक है भाई, थोड़ा कुछ साबुदाना कुछ खा लो, eat something, but or have some fruits, but you have to read the Vedic scriptures. So we are all senses of our we are all slaves of our senses. And the first idea, or the best idea, or the sure shot idea is by offering pleasing objects that can agitate the mind of a man, we can bring Rishyashringa to our city. So what is the pleasing objects that can agitate the mind? Do you think you are also lured by sense objects which agitate your mind? कितने लोग हाँ बोलते हैं, कितने लोग ना बोलते हैं? You can unmute and say, or you can raise your hand and say yes or no.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yes,
How?
Prabhuji. Yes,
Very good. How?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
How?
Food, clothing,
True.
any with all the five senses that we have.
Okay. Something more? Somebody can add? Something intellectual. बोलो. अंजना माता जी बताओ. Okay. Tell me.
Name, fame, and recognition.
Settlement.
Male
Name fame.
female attraction. Okay.
Name fame. Name fame.
Name fame
recognition.
attraction. Okay. Fine. Something more. Come on, Puja Mataji, you should be able to express. How we are lured. It is all just by advertisements that we are all agitated in our mind. What is the purpose of an ad? What is the need of a heroine or a female model to advertise a cement, to advertise a tire? There also lady comes, to advertise cement, to advertise tire. So the point is, we are all agitated by when we are lured by sense objects which are advertised merely by advertising, merely showing others enjoying. No, you see the ice cream ad. Someone is, oh, I am loving it, I am enjoying it. You are agitated. अरे वाह, वो कैसे सुखी हो सकता है, मैं दुखी रह सकता हूँ क्या? How can I remain unhappy and he is becoming happy? I will also order and I will also become happy. Don't become happy by ordering, but this is how the mind game works. So it is not the senses which get agitated with the sense object. It is the mind which gets agitated with the sense object, and it is by default. You cannot mechanically stop it. The minute I tell you, oh, you're going to have a nice rasgulla on an ice cream party after the class, I have not even shown you the ice cream, but still the taste starts lingering, and I tell you it's a chocolate ice cream or it's a nice fruit ice cream. The taste starts lingering in your mouth. आपके मुंह में वो स्वाद आने लगता है. हाँ, chocolate ice cream बहुत बढ़िया रहता है. I enjoy it. Whatever it is, or any other food item, whatever it may be. The point is, mind gets agitated. And what is furthermore Lord saying about the mind? We'll understand further and go through the explanation. Please go.
Explanation. Through the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, many of the Vedic and scriptural injunctions are explained in various places. From these situations, the common man must take guidance. Objects of sense enjoyment always agitate the mind to such an extent that a man loses his discriminatory power. It is commonly seen that the people living in the cities travel from one end of the city to another just to eat some favorite or famous food. This is because of the driving force within their mind to gratify their senses. But the same driving force is not seen when one wants to go to a temple. Many people procrastinate their visit to the temple, citing it to be very far and hence not worthy. But when it comes to sense pleasure, even a great distance seems small. An example from the Shastras of how our mind is diverted can be seen in the story of Vishwamitra Muni. His long austerity was broken just by seeing the Apsara Menaka. By reading the scriptures and books written by a true spiritual teacher, one develops a perfect discriminatory mind. By this, one gains the right path for spiritual understanding.
So, the mind's agitation is by default. But then, who controls this mind? Your intelligence. Your intelligence controls your mind, and the intelligence is the only factor which is going to be more important in your life. What is intelligence? Intelligence और कुछ नहीं है, विवेक. क्या सही है, क्या गलत है, क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए. This is विवेक, intelligence. Everyone knows ये गलत है, ये सही है, करना चाहिए, नहीं करना चाहिए, ये आपका माइंड नहीं बताएगा. माइंड तो बोलेगा माइंड तो चीटर है, एक नंबर. माइंड विल टेल यू, एंजॉय. आज एक दिन आइसक्रीम खाने से क्या होता है? थोड़ा डायबिटीज बढ़ेगा, थोड़ा खर्चा होगा, चलेगा. बट इंटेलिजेंस बोलता है नहीं नहीं, योर डायबिटीज इज ऑलरेडी टू हाई, योर कोलेस्ट्रॉल इज टू हाई, डोंट ईट इट. And those who have a firm intelligence, they can only subdue the mind. But otherwise, the mind, the definition, qualities of the mind is explained very nicely by Krishna. I mean, to Arjuna, by Arjuna to Krishna. Arjuna is telling in the Bhagavad Gita, Chanchalami mana Krishna, Pramati balvat dridam. Saying the mind is Chanchal, Pramati, and Balvat. three attributes, three qualities which he is mentioning about the mind. The mind is obstinate. First and foremost is flickery, chanchal. Chanchal example, जैसे आप बच्चे को लेके जाओ या आप खुद ही चले जाओ, you go to a shop where you want to buy a nice dress, और बच्चे को किसी चॉकलेट शॉप में लेके गए, which chocolate you want to eat? The child will be crazy, go crazy. I like this chocolate also, I like that chocolate also, I like this chocolate also. And the same way, let's say an elder person goes to buy a dress or a sari. How many dresses and sari a person sees just to buy one? क्यों? The mind says, वो भी देख लें, शायद that may be better, this may be better, this may be better. That is why it is called fickle mind. Mind is fickle mind. Then second comes as chanchalami mana krishna pramathi balvat and dridam. Pramathi, agitating. Actually, what agitates you is not the sense. It only gives information. All senses give you information. जैसे आप चल के गए, रास्ते में आपको एक पाव भाजी का दुकान है. What mistake the nose did? The nose is just collecting the information, sending. It's like a radar. It's a radar hota hai, it tells whether the plane. It doesn't tell you whether it's an enemy plane or your own plane. It only says that a plane is coming. Similarly, that nose is telling, oh, I'm getting the smell of pav bhaji. You go ahead, it will tell you, I'm getting the smell of, let's say, some sweet meat. So whatever the smell is there, that will enter your nose and it will indicate. But the minute the sense goes, the smell goes in your nose, what happens? The mind agitates. Hey, it's nice pav bhaji smell. Come on, let's have pav bhaji. It's a long time we have not had it. Come on. पूछा क्या? किसी ने पूछा उस माइंड को खाना चाहिए नहीं खाना चाहिए? बस पैसे. You say no, आज पैसा नहीं है, पाव भाजी खाने को पैसा. Go ahead. Then the mind will say, I smell of ice cream. Let's have ice cream. No, I won't have ice cream. I got cold, bad throat. Go ahead. The eyes sees a pan wala making nice pan. Hey, let's have a pan. अरे कम से कम वो तो खा ले. पाव भाजी नहीं खाया, आइसक्रीम नहीं खाया, एक छोटा सा मीठा मस्त पान खा ले. Some way or the other, the mind keeps on, in some way or the other, attracting you, pulling you. And that is why the mind is agitating, pramathi, balvat, very strong. Very strong. Secondly, it is stubborn. You tell a child, don't jump on the sofa. The minute mommy goes out of the sight, the child will start jumping. Kyun? Just because mommy has said don't jump. There is no logic. The child is not getting any, it's effort for the child to jump on the sofa. But still it's jumping just because mommy has said no. So the mind is agitating. I'm sorry, stubborn. And this is how these qualities of the mind push you and make you do an activity which you personally, your intelligence says, don't do. But still your mind gets agitated. You must be wondering why I'm telling you all this story about the mind, because you will see what is happening further down the same chapter, the same story, how Rishi Shringya gets trapped by his senses. Big sage, big time sage of great austerity, of a great father who is also a great sage of his time, renowned sage. इससे सब लोग डरते हैं. But that son also, that means their plan is going to get successful. How their ministers have planned to put a bait. बोलते हैं ना, क्या बोलते हैं? कांटा फेंकना. मच्छी को कांटा फेंकते हैं ना, तो कांटे में क्या डालते हैं? कीड़ा लगा देते हैं. Small worm is fit, and then the hook on the hook the worm is put, and then it is put inside the water. And the worm is dancing, and the fish comes to catch the worm and gets caught. So this is how the mind also does. It keeps you keeping on putting different, एक अलग अलग तरीके का आपको पर फंदा डालते रहते. So that is why here we see that माइंड को काबू में करना आसान नहीं। तस्य हम निग्रह मने वायुर एवं सुदुष्करम। अर्जुना इज टेलिंग एक बार आई कैन कंट्रोल द माइंड, हवा, विंड, I can control the wind, but I can't control this mind. Who is saying this? Arjuna. तब 5000 साल पहले कह रहा है, 5000 साल पहले अर्जुना कह रहा है कि मैं एक बार इस माइंड को ना, इस पवन को, इस हवा को मैं कंट्रोल कर सकता हूँ और माइंड को नहीं कर। तो उसके लिए क्या बोला भगवान ने? संशय महाभाव, इसमें कोई संशय नहीं, तेरा बात सही है। पर कैसा बोला है उसने? दो तरीका बोला। What are the two tricks? Anyone knows? Remembers?
By practice.
अभ्यास और वैराग्य से।
हाँ?
अभ्यास और वैराग्य।
Practice.
Yes. Very good. Practice and detachment. Practice and detachment. अभ्यास और वैराग्य। अभ्यास किस चीज का करना है? वैराग्य किस चीज का? डिटैचमेंट का प्रैक्टिस करना है, अभ्यास उसका करना और डिटैचमेंट फाइनली करना है। तो इसके लिए भगवान ने, इसके लिए हम लोगों को एकादशी दी है। थोड़ा थोड़ा करके डिटैचमेंट प्रैक्टिस कर लो। इंद्रिय तृप्ति, इंद्रिय भोग के वस्तु से कम से कम 15 दिन में एक बार तो दूर रहो। सो अभ्यास एंड वैराग्य से ही आप उससे बच सकते हो, नहीं तो आप उसके बली हो जाओ। प्लीज माता जी कंटिन्यू।
Our court dancers, who are very beautiful and well dressed, will go there, tempting Rishyashringi in various ways. They will bring him to the kingdom of Anga. O king, the court dancers will execute this task, as they will be well gifted by you. Explanation. These Ganikas or court dancers were extremely beautiful, and in exchange for some wealth, they offered various types of favors.
So basically, what is the plan? भाई पहला प्रिंसिपल ऑफ द प्लान क्या था? Agitate their mind and attract Rishyashringi to Romarshana's kingdom. And how to attract? Either multiple attacks, आजकल वॉर में ना मल्टीपल अटैक्स होते हैं ना, ड्रोन से भी, मिसाइल से भी, फ्रॉम लैंड, एयर, वाटर, सब जगह से फायरिंग करते हैं। वैसे ये मल्टीपल अटैक कर रहे हैं। दे आर सेंडिंग द मोस्ट dangerous weapon, the Ganikas, the beautiful court dancers, with like a beautiful figure, seductive body, a seductive figure, seductive looks, and mind you, they can change the mind of any man. किसी भी आदमी का दिमाग चेंज कर सकते, उनको भेजने का प्लान बनाया। Continue.
Sumantra continued his narration. Having heard the priests and ministers, King Romapad replied, "So be it." Then the priests and ministers initiated their plan. Having thus heard the instructions of the ministers, the best of the court dancers entered the great forest. Setting up their hermitage close to sage Vibhandaka's hermitage, they made various trials to get a glimpse of Rishyashringi, the sage's son. The court dancers wanted to mark their presence before Rishyashringi, but that determined sage used to always reside inside his hermitage.
Here what they are trying to say, पहला चीज से डिसाइड हो गया, चलो हम इन गणिका को, इन नृत्य कन्याओं को, कोर्ट डांसर्स को भेज देंगे और वो लोग इसको आकर्षित करेंगे और आकर्षण इतना बढ़ा देंगे कि उसके पीछे पीछे यहाँ आ जाएगा। प्लान बनाया था, बढ़िया प्लान है। सब जब गणिका तैयार हो गई तो उनको सब भेज दिया। He sent all the court dancers near the hermitage, not inside the hermitage. आचार्यगण बहुत अच्छा कहते हैं कि ये लोग ने एक नाव बनाया था, और नाव ऐसा बनाया था कि एक छोटे शहर की तरह बहुत बड़ा नाव था, और उस नाव के अंदर उनका घर था, झोपड़ा था, जो भी बोलो आप, एंड बाजू बाजू में थोड़े फल फूल उग रहे थे और बढ़िया सब बनाया था। और उन्होंने बराबर उनके जो ऋषि के जो आश्रम था उसके करीब लाके उस नाव को रखा, बट करीब इन द सेंस इट वाज स्टिल अ फ्यू किलोमीटर्स अवे, बिकॉज़ दे वर अफ्रेड ऑफ विभांडका। तो जब वहां पे रख दिया, ये गणिकाओं बाहर आके रोज नाचती थी, गाती थी, फल फूल तोड़ती थी, ताकि राजा की नजर में वो लोग आ पाए, नॉट राजा, सॉरी, ऋषि श्रृंगिया की नजर में वो आ पाए। बट ऋषि श्रृंगिया क्या था, एकदम सीधा आदमी था, हमेशा आश्रम में बैठा रहता था, वहीं तपस्या करता, वहीं आहुति देता, अग्नि आहुति देता, बस वहीं खुश रहता था, बाहर बहुत कम आता था, ना के बराबर आता था। कंटिन्यू।
Rishyashringi was always satisfied with his father and did not move much out of his hermitage. Since birth, never had he seen an ascetic, a female or male, or any other city dweller. Then
He
one
was
day,
happy. One minute.
Hmm.
तो ऋषि सिंह was satisfied, एकदम संतुष्ट था कि हम लोग भी बाहर क्यों घूमने जाते हैं, कि हम संतुष्ट नहीं, घर में बैठ के बोर हो जाते, बाहर जाएंगे, कुछ देखेंगे, कुछ खाने को मिलेगा, कुछ देखने को मिलेगा, कुछ नया चीज एक्सपीरियंस करने मिलेगा, बस यही हमारे दिमाग में रहता है, इसलिए तुम बाहर जाते हैं। पर ऋषि सिंह का क्या हाल था, वो सेटिस्फाइड, कभी बाहर गया ही नहीं, ज्यादा झंझट ही नहीं, बस वो और उसके पिताजी एंड दोनों बाहर ज्यादा नहीं जाते थे। और बचपन से ही हैड नेवर सीन अनदर सेज, उसको पता भी नहीं है कि दूसरा इंसान दिखता कैसे, दूसरा साधु कैसे दिखता है, और दूसरा कोई शहर में रहने वाला कैसा दिखता है, और ना ही कोई स्त्री कैसे दिखेगी। ही हैड नेवर सीन ऑल दिस। प्लीज कंटिन्यू।
then one day, by the will of Providence, Rishyashringi, the son of Vibhandaka, came to that place where he saw the female court dancers. The sage's son, Rishyashringi, saw the beautifully decorated, lustfully agitating females singing in a sweet voice. They all came near and spoke to him.
वेट, ये इस पहले श्लोक में 10.10, मतलब बालकांड 10th चैप्टर 10th सर्ग 10th वर्स, उसमें एक वर्ड बहुत खूबसूरत शब्द है संस्कृत, यदर्चया। यदर्चया मतलब, एक मतलब ये होता है कि अपने आप आ गए बाहर, बाई चांस, हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, अरे व्हाट अ कोइंसिडेंस, मैं बाहर आया और आप भी बाहर आए, कोइंसिडेंस से मिल। और दूसरा क्या है, दूसरा ये है कि देयर इज नो कोइंसिडेंस इन लाइफ, देयर इज नेवर एन एक्सीडेंटली। अगर समझो आपने रास्ते में किसी से टकरा गए, कभी दोस्त से या दुश्मन से, दोनों ही केस में अचानक नहीं, ये तभी हुआ है जब भगवान की इच्छा हुई। ये कहते हैं कि प्रोविडेंस, प्रोविडेंस, इच्छा या डेस्टिनी, किस्मत आपका, देयर इज डेस्टिनी इज ऑलवेज रिटन, आपका जैसा आज समझो, आज आपका हाथ टूट गया, गिर गए, तो गिरना आपका नसीब में था, तो सुबह से था, भले आप गिरे शाम को, ऑलरेडी आपका डेस्टिनी में गिरना लिखा। So that is why he's saying, one day by the will of providence, Rishyashringi, the son of Vibhandaka, came to that place where he saw those female dancers. And वो female dancers कर क्या रहे थे? They were all beautifully decorated, lustful, agitating females singing in sweet voice. मधुर आवाज में गा रहे थे, और बहुत ही लस्टफुल एंड एजिटेटिंग थे, तो इतने खूबसूरत थे कि कोई भी व्यक्ति का दिल उन पे आ जाए। कंटिन्यू।
The female dancers asked Rishyashringi, "O Brahmana, who are you? What are you doing here? We wish to know. Please tell us, why are you moving around in this isolated and terrible forest?" Never had Rishyashringi seen such a desirable female form in the forest before. Out of affection for his father, he thought of introducing himself along with his father.
सो वहां पे जानबूझ के एजिटेट करने के लिए, आप कौन हो, कहाँ से आए हो, हाँ अब क्या इस जंगल में क्या कर रहे हो, ना ढूंढने का बहाना। पहले की हीरो हीरोइन का मूवीज में आप देखोगे ना, पहले जमाने की, तो उसमें भी ऐसे, अरे आप कहाँ से आए, क्यों आए, ऑल दिस, बस बहाना चाहिए था डायलॉग के लिए, बोलने के लिए, बस यही डायलॉग चल। और ऋषि सिंह क्या सोच रहे भाई, ये कौन है, ये कौन से जीव हैं, इनके शरीर अलग हैं, अलग तरीके से बाल हैं, कभी ये सब देखा नहीं है। तो वो भी बोलेगा, वो भी थोड़ा एजिटेट हो गया, बोला चलो मैं अपना पहचान बता देता हूँ, अपना पिता का पूरा फैमिली का इंट्रोडक्शन दे देता हूँ। प्लीज कंटिन्यू।
Rishyashringi said, "My father is sage Vibhandaka, and I am his son Rishyashringi. My name and activities are famous on the entire earth. O auspicious ones, my hermitage is nearby. I shall perform a befitting worship for you, all as per the Shastras." Having heard the words of the sage's son, there arose a desire immediately in all of them to see his hermitage. So all the ladies went from there to his hermitage.
देखो अजय ऋषि सिंह के क्या भाव में है। पहला चीज तो उसने अपने पिता का बारे में बताया, माय फादर इज एज विभांडका एंड आई एम हिज सन। माँ के बारे में कुछ बोल रहा है, माँ होता भी उसको पता नहीं। एंड ऋषि सिंह, आई एम सन ऋषि सिंह, माय नेम एंड एक्टिविटीज आर फेमस ऑन द एंटायर अर्थ। मैं जो कार्य करता हूँ बहुत महान कार्य। ओ ऑस्पिशियस वन, माय हेरिटेज इज नियर बाय, मेरा आश्रम बहुत नजदीक है, आप लोग आ जाओ। आई शैल परफॉर्म अ बिफिटिंग वर्शिप, आप लोगों का अच्छा स्वागत करूंगा, आप लोग आ जाओ। वो भी कैसे? शास्त्र प्रमाण से, क्योंकि उसने एक ही चीज सीखा था और वो था शास्त्र। एंड देन ये सब बोलने के बाद ऑल दीज लेडीज दे सेड चलो लेट्स गो टू योर हेरिटेज, एंड दे ऑल वेंट टू हिज हेरिटेज। कंटिन्यू।
On their reaching his hermitage, that son of sage Vibhandaka honored those court dancers nicely. He offered them water to wash their hands and legs. Then he offered them fruits and roots.
बेचारा करे गया, इज अ सिंगल बॉय स्टेइंग देयर, वो भी आश्रम में रह रहा है, कुछ खास कुछ नो छप्पन भोग सब बना के खिला नहीं सकता है। So what did he give them? He just gave them water to wash their feet and give them nice fruits and roots. Now the main story will come. Please read now.
All the female dancers received honor and worship enthusiastically from Rishyashringi, but were afraid of his father, sage Vibhandaka. So they thought of leaving that place at the earliest.
Because वो लोग अपने उसके पिताजी से डरते थे, भाई भांडा ऋषि आ गया तो इनको श्राप दे देगा, तो जल्दी से भाग लो। सो अगर फिर भी उनका आइडिया देखो आगे। यस।
The court dancers said, "O twice born Brahmana, please eat our rare fruits. They are very good for you. O Brahmana, eat them without delay." Thus, those female dancers gave Rishyashringi modak, traditional Indian sweet, and other varieties of nice things to eat. Then they all embraced him joyfully. On
See
tasting,
how planned, how well planned they were. They were already carrying nice Indian sweets, जो कभी उसने खाया नहीं, क्योंकि कभी उसने घर पे किचन तो था ही नहीं, चूल्हा तो था ही नहीं उसके घर पे, तो उसने कभी ये सब मोदक और ये सब अच्छी चीजें कभी खाई नहीं थी। व्हाट दे प्लान्ड वाज, फर्स्ट उन्होंने बोला आपका फ्रूट्स तो हमने खा लिया, अब आप हमारा हाथ का कुछ खाइए। एंड देन he gave them nice modak. I mean, they gave him nice modak and other sweetmeats to eat, and then embraced him joyfully. Now, definitely a young boy bubbling in his youth, embraced by a female, will definitely get agitated in the mind. Though he doesn't know who a female is and what a female is, but human, no, this body and human physiology is such that automatically that would agitate him. Go ahead.
on tasting those sweets, that splendid sage Rishyashringi assumed them to be fruits. As he had been a forest dweller, he had never tasted such sweets earlier in his entire life.
उसको लगा मोदक भी किसी पेड़ से उगता होगा, हाँ, करंजी भी किसी पेड़ में उगता होगा, और रसगुल्ला भी किसी पेड़ में उगता होगा। Because he has never eaten, उसने हमेशा फल फूल ही खाया है, उसने कभी ये सब पका हुआ खाना नहीं खाया। He felt वाह क्या फ्रूट्स है इनके पास, मेरे पास ऐसे फ्रूट्स नहीं है, उनके पास ऐसे फ्रूट्स है। Because they were agitating to his senses. वो फ्रूट्स खाते ही उसके सेंसेस एजिटेट हो गए और वो अट्रैक्ट हो गए। प्लीज कंटिन्यू।
The lady dancers took permission from the Brahmana and soon left his hermitage on the pretext of following some ritualistic vows. They did so out of fear of getting cursed by sage Vibhandaka.
बस उनका काम हो गया था ना, प्लान वाज सक्सेसफुल, स्टिंग ऑपरेशन सक्सेसफुल। क्या किया उन्होंने? गया, उसको अच्छे अच्छे मिठाई खिला दी, मधुर कंठ आवाज सुनाया, because he has never heard a voice of a female, so he was enchanted by listening to a female voice. Then he was enchanted by eating those beautiful modaks and other sweetmeats which he thought to be fruits. And then finally, before leaving, they all embraced him. And he was wondering, what are they doing? What is this? He has never experienced this. And he was feeling funny, but at the same time, the senses were enjoying it. Continue.
After all the ladies left Rishyashringa's hermitage, that son of Vibhandaka became restless at heart. He had now become very sad.
पहले सुखी आदमी कैसे दुखी हो गया? He was happy, no? With his only father, without any contact with anyone in this world, he was happy. And now, what made him sad? Realization that they were eating some better sweets. He was thinking they were eating better fruits than him, which he was not enjoying. These female were enjoying. He was feeling sad about it. Then after getting embraced and they are going away, he was feeling sad. Hare, why did they go away? They were so nice in speaking. I was so enjoying, because the senses were actually taking pleasure in their accompaniment. When they were accompanying him and they were speaking to him, the senses were taking pleasure. Continue.
Hearing the heart-pleasing words of all those ladies, the sage made up his mind to go with them. The ladies then took him away to the kingdom of Anga. When that great-souled Brahmana was brought to the kingdom of Anga, the rain god poured rain immediately. Thus those rains delighted the world. King Romapad personally proceeded to welcome Rishyashringa, who was now entering the kingdom of Anga along with rains by his power of austerity. The king
One page is missing.
One page you skipped out, Mataji.
Yes.
अच्छा, हिंदी में कर दिया। Oh, sorry प्रभु जी, sorry प्रभु जी।
इसका पिक्चर के क्लाइमेक्स में चले गए।
अरे अरे yes प्रभु जी।
हाँ।
Repeatedly thinking in his mind about those ladies, the son of Vibhandaka, who was rich in Vedic knowledge, came the very next day to the place of the court dancers. There he saw the leader of those delightful ladies who were well decorated.
So what is this? What do you understand from this? How a man becomes a slave of senses. The minute they had gone, he had become sad. So what is this? No, there's always a shloka 5.22 which I always say. Yehi sansparsha jab hoga dukkha yone revate adi antavanta kaunte na tesu ramate buddha. And intelligence should not partake in enjoyments which has a beginning and an end, and which starts with the contact of the senses with the sense object. ये दोनों का मिलना बहुत खतरनाक होता है, सेंस एंड सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट. उसके बाद जैसे आपके नाक में कुछ सुगंध गया या बदबू गया, कुछ भी गया, what is the first thing happens in your mind? Agitation, either repulsion or attraction. Bas. This is the problem. The first thing is samsparsha jab hoga dukkha yone revate. It will lead to only sadness. क्यों? या तो वो खाने के बाद सैडनेस होगा, तो इतना ही खाने को हो रहा है, मन तो दिल मांगे मोर पर पेट में नो जगह नो मोर, क्या करें? कितना खाएं? पेट भर जाता है मगर मन नहीं भर रहा है, और थोड़ा 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 और एक और चम्मच खा लेता हूँ, कल नाश्ता नहीं करूंगा और एक और चम्मच खाता हूँ. इतना भी ठूस के खा लो, मन नहीं भर. That is why after some days again you go to the same restaurant and order the same dish and you enjoy the same dish. So दुख योने रेवते आदि अंत अंत कौनते. दुखी क्यों हुआ? वो आनंद का एक स्टार्टिंग था. जैसे वो गणिकाएं आए, उन्होंने उसको अच्छे मोदक खिलाए, उसका आलिंगन किया और फिर गए. वो आदि था और अंत था. और ऐसे जो भोग होते हैं ना, बहुत खतरनाक है, और आदमी ज्यादा करके इन भोगों का इस जाल में फंस जाता है. तो उसके लिए क्या किया? रिपीटेडली थिंकिंग, रात भर ध्यायतो विषयान पुंसा, रात भर उसी के बारे में सोच रहा है वो। एंड दोज लेडीज, बस उसके दिमाग में बस वही लेडीज है। अरे इतना साल से पिताजी ने सिखाया, पिताजी का साथ था, अब पिताजी कहाँ है दिमाग में? गायब, vanished from his head. What about the teachings of the scriptures, the teaching of the Vedas? Vanished from his head. And only what was roaming in his mind? Those female dancers and their embrace and their beautiful voice and their beautiful sweetmeats. बस, तो इतने सालों का तपस्या इंद्रियों ने 1 मिनट में फ्लिक कर लिया। Please read the explanation, mother.
In this verse, the words Shriman Manasa Chintayan Muhu give us a deep message. The word Shriman means a rich man. But Rishyashringi was not a rich man. It means that the sage was rich in intelligence, austerities, and Vedic knowledge. But despite all this, that sage had been agitated because of his senses. Bhagavad Gita 2.62 states, Dhyayato Visayan Pumansa Sangas Tesu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodha Abhijayate. Once a person starts thinking intensely about any object of sense enjoyment, then that person develops attachment and lust for that object. Though the ladies had left Rishyashringi's hermitage the previous day itself, they were still dwelling in his mind. The sage was thinking about the ladies repeatedly after they had left. Rishyashringi was contemplating their bodily features and the nice food that they had offered him. Thus his mind became restless, and he was pulled to the place where the ladies lived the very next day. In the Bhagavad Gita 2.67, it is said, Indriyanam hi charatam yan mano anuvidhiyate tat asya harati prajnam vayur navam ivambhasi. The senses
Navam iva ambasam.
ivambhasi, huh?
Vayur navam iva ambasam.
Vayur navam ivambhasam.
Ivambasi.
Oh. The senses of a living being are always wandering, and when it gets agitated by any sense object, it will drift away that person from his goal. It is just like a strong wind which carries away a boat, and thus the boat is lost. In today's modern times, people are exposed to a variety of sense enjoyment objects, but contemplation on them is destroying their peace. Hence, we see so many cases of depression, anxiety, suicidal tendencies, and so on. All the personalities in Ramayana and Mahabharata were exalted. They act in such a manner that they may bewilder a common man. However, they did so to teach the general masses and alert them of the various dangers in life. If one tries to concentrate his mind on sense enjoyment objects, then he will be deviating from the actual goal of his life, which is to realize God.
I'll tell you one small story. When Vedavyas was explaining the Shastra, the Vedas, to various rishis, and the rishis were listening, and he was telling always, one should control your senses, one should control his senses, one should control his senses, one should keep his senses under control. All the sages were wondering, अरे यार एक ही चीज बार बार अलग अलग तरीके से क्यों कह रहा है? Sometimes he's telling you should control the senses. One should say, one is he's saying is the senses should be kept under control. We know, we are sages. We are not ordinary Tom, Dick, and Harrys. We are all elated sages. So one of the sage, forgot his name, to refer to my notes.
ये Gemini Rishi?
Gemini Rishi, yes, Gemini Rishi. Gemini Rishi told him, my dear sir, we are sages. We are also senior devotees like you. So you don't have to again and again tell us that one should control his senses, one to control his senses. We know it very well. Why I'm saying this, Rishyashringi was also an elevated sage. He's himself telling those Ganikas, I'm famous all over the world, and my father is also a great personality. So when Gemini Rishi said so, Ved Vyas did not say anything, he just laughed. And he ended the class that day. That day night, Gemini Rishi was sitting in his hut and reading the scriptures. Big Rishi. Suddenly, he heard someone knock at the door. And when he opened the door, it was a filmy scene. Scene was very romantic. There was a beautiful young girl, a lady, and there was raining outside. It was raining. So she was totally wet. The typical Hindi movie plot, is keen. And she is, all the clothes are sticking to her body, and her body is highlighted, and her beauty is highlighted, her bodily features are highlighted, her chest is highlighted, everything is like them like a movie. And she's saying, "Oh, I have lost my way on this jungle. Can you please give me shelter? I'm alone. I need help." Rishyashringi, okay, I'm a sage. I should help you. Okay, you come inside. So he takes the lady inside. Then he tells her, okay, one thing you do, it is not good for a sage to stay with a woman. So I will go out. You do one thing, you lock the door from inside. अंदर से दरवाजा बंद कर ले. I will go out. And remember, don't open the door under any circumstance. Even if I myself come and knock the door, don't open the door. Lady said, yes, yes, don't worry. I will not open till sunrise. I will not open the door. So the sage went out. She locked the door, and the sage went out and sat. But what he had seen, the beautiful lady's body, her bodily features, her charming, attractive figure, was only contemplating in his mind. All that study, all that Vedas, Shastra, that teachings, all has evaporated in 1 minute. And he was reading. He was sitting there, only thinking, wow, what a beautiful lady, what a beautiful lady. So now I should go and see this lady. She's really beautiful. I'd at least have a glimpse of her once more. So he himself went and knocked the door. The lady said, who is it? He said, I am me. I'm the owner, Gemini Rishi. No, no, sir, I cannot open the door. You only have told me not to open the door. I'm not going to open the door. Sage is wondering, मैंने बोला था, but okay, I told, but now open the door. I'm saying I got some urgent work to do. No, sir, I will not open the door. Please don't disturb. Okay, अंदर से आवाज है. Now, Gemini, she is totally agitated. I want to see that woman, that lady's figure is in front of my eyes. I can't stop it. He climbed on the roof of the hut, removed the thatched leaves. No, ऊपर का जो भी मचान बोलते हैं, जो I don't know what you say in Hindi. Haystacks on the top, and jumped inside the house. His own house, he is entering like a thief. Why? Because he is impelled, is propelled by his agitated mind after his eyes had seen that beautiful figure. And there, where he jumped inside, who was sleeping on the bed? Vedvyas himself. And there, Vedvyas was smiling. My dear son, you only were telling, no? Why am I repeating the same thing again and again and again? You are a very exalted sage. You said you don't need to be trained again and again. So that is why I had to give a demonstration of why I had to teach you again and again. इसमें याद रखना, सत्संग में ना कई बार चीजें रिपीट होती, हमको भी रिपीट करना अच्छा नहीं लगता. We also get bored repeating the same thing in every class and in different places at in different times, but it is required. तुम से अरे प्रभु जी वही चीज बार बार बोल रहे हो. How boring it is. I have heard the story. I know the story. Yes, you may know the story, but still, for you to realize it, you need to listen to it a couple of times. N number of times you need to listen. Then only when the situation, actual situation of challenge, test will come in front of you, that time you will be able to pass the test. And if you think, this is sab aata hai, like Gemini Rishi, I know everything. I've studied this so many times. Yes, I have to control my senses. Just by reading, one cannot control his senses. Senses can be controlled only by repeated practice and by forced controlling your mind. ये दो चीज करके ही आप आपके इंद्रियों पे कंट्रोल कर सकते हो, नहीं तो नहीं कर सकते. Okay, with this I would like to end today's session. We'll discuss further a little more on this in the next class.